the chance to play the game at EGX 2015, they asked a UB rep, what's going on with melee combat? Why isn't it in the game? Now, the UB rep told them on the show floor at EGX 2015 that, yes, melee combat would eventually be making it into the final build of the game. That's awesome to hear. I really hope this ends up actually happening. I'm all for melee combat. As you know, Destiny has it. Nearly every shooter out there, including third-person shooter, has it, including the upcoming Star Wars Battlefront. So I do think it would be appropriate to add it to the Division. Now, the J-Lo show goes on to call this game the next Destiny. Now, this was hilarious. He, like me, was actually confused about the DMR, whether it was a shotgun or long range. I thought I was the only one. I know it sounds weird. How in the world can you confuse a DMR with a shotgun? And it's simple. The reticle is so big. It's like this gigantic spread reticle, just like a shotgun reticle. So I was surprised that has not changed. That needs to change, because when you pick it up and you see the reticle that big, you go, oh, I just grabbed a shotgun. So that was pretty funny to hear someone else finally mention that. So that still persists, that oddity, so I hope they do get that fixed. But they did go on to say that they love the controls. It was very easy to get into. Same thing with me. I did love the controls. It reminds me a lot of Ghost Recon Future Soldier. Now, the graphics. This was running on the Xbox One once again. And on Reddit, Amy Bode, the community manager for the Division, goes on to confirm that the EGX build was running on the Xbox One. Let's just say the graphics, as they put it, were beautiful. They were very impressed with the graphics. And in this build, the snow was actually building up. I didn't really notice this with my time with the Division, so this might have been something they actually added to the EGX 2015 build. I can't honestly wait to see, again, the snow building up over time in places like Central Park, or during the nighttime conditions. I really have a feeling this game is going to absolutely shine at nighttime, so I'm very excited to see this. Now, they also rated their experience with Tom Clancy The Division. They gave it about an 8 out of 10. One of them did, and then another one gave it a 7 out of 10, so it was good to hear those opinions. And that was primarily because of the lack of content and not being able to actually explore the world. This was just a small chunk, which I was also disappointed in. I wanted to, you know, take on the PvP role, complete that Dark Zone quest or whatever, extract, and then move on to, you know, the co-op realm and stuff like that, but that never happened. So once we get into that sort of thing, I think this game will really, really impress and even go beyond that sort of rating. Now, on to Reddit. This is very interesting. MC Fixer went away very impressed with the game. He also was told, as you may already know, you get more XP for killing rogue agents versus being one. That's going to be interesting if that ends up being true in the final build, because as I have heard, as a rogue agent, you can collect your own bounty if you are able to survive and exit the Dark Zone. So we shall see what happens there. But that's not all. We've got more opinions from Papa Bear UK. And he goes on to say that he didn't get to see the food and drink mechanics. I also didn't experience any of the food and drink mechanics, which, as I have heard, have been removed, or they are being used for something else other than, you know, pure survival mechanics. This is not going to be a survival game from what I understand. Now, he goes on to say the controls are a bit different. The only comparison that I can give is to The Last of Us. I did a whole special on how the Division feels a lot like The Last of Us. A lot of you will probably celebrate that fact. I absolutely love Naughty Dog's work with The Last of Us, so if this actually ends up panning out where they get that feeling throughout the entire experience like The Last of Us, that would be awesome for an open world game. It would be amazing if they did that. Now, the only thing I would really like to see that The Last of Us does so well is the ability to crouch and stuff like that. Now, prone does not have to be in the game, but The Last of Us does a cover system that you're responsible for wholeheartedly. You decide on how you take cover. It's not a sticky cover system, and I do have to admit, I really do like that. But what is here with the Division is epic, especially if you're a fan of Ghost Recon Future Soldier and the previous Ghost Recon games. You will really love the cover system here. So the buildings were not explorable in this build of the Dark Zone. I'm not too surprised about that. I don't think every single building is going to be explorable in the Division, but I do think there's going to be various ways to get into the Dark Zone. At least that is officially what Ubisoft has said. But what about them graphics? Look at how sexy the Snowdrop engine looks. Now, of course, this is not what it looked like at E3 2015 for me. It had a little bit of a downgrade, I guess you can say, but I was expecting that. Let's compare it to The Witcher 3. And for those of you that own The Witcher 3, you know how gorgeous that game looks on the PS4 or the Xbox One, but the Snowdrop engine is really doing a great job on the Xbox One. Again, the build at EGX 2015 was running on the Xbox One. And from our fellow Reddit user, Papa Bear UK, he went away very impressed with the actual graphics for the Xbox One. He said he didn't see downgrade whatsoever. Perhaps he was playing the latest build and it had been upgraded, because guys, I have not had the chance to go hands-on with the EGX 2015 version at all. I got to try the E3 2015 version in June 2015, so you know, it's been quite some time. They could have added some effects and visual flair to the game since then. Maybe it's looking even better, which I would not be surprised by at all, because they told me at E3 2015, hey, this is an alpha build. We will be improving the game as we go along. So it's good to hear. I'm hearing two different sources now saying that they were impressed with the Xbox One graphics. Of course, this indicates that the PS4 is also going to really hold up visually, but that's to be expected. And then PC gamers, you could really crank up the effects. I am sure we will see special trailers dedicated to the PC like we have seen in the past for Watch Dogs and stuff like that. Hopefully it pans out well, because you guys know when I mentioned Watch Dogs and some of the builds on PC from Ubisoft, they have been not up to par with what they promised. So guys, I'm with you in the same boat. Please know that. I'm just crossing my fingers that everything works out for the Division. Now, he did speak about the spawn points and dying in the game. This is one of my biggest concerns. I'm really worried that they're going to have rogue agents, someone that's on a kill streak, that's doing very well, be penalized for doing well, because the rumor is that your spawn timer will increase as you kill in the game, which in my opinion is a little weird. It does add a little bit of balance to the game, because if you're doing well and you do die, you sit out, you give some chance to the other players to get back in the game. So that is where the mechanic does seem balanced. Now, he does go on to say that the explosions and smoke and general weather effects look great. Let's hope the beta is polished some more, as there were some noticeable frame rate drops when a lot was happening. So there is a big concern for me. Frame rate is absolutely king. This is something that I spoke about a lot with Assassin's Creed Unity, because the frame rate, even to this day, is terrible in my opinion for an open world game running on new gen consoles. I mean, come on. But the good news is games like Assassin's Creed Syndicate from Ubisoft really do have that smooth frame rate. I did get to try that one as well at E3 2015. So hopefully they nail down the frame rate. It has to absolutely stay above 30 frames per second.